Hi, my name is Noelle Vadino, and I'm an English teacher at Lindenwold High School. Today, I'd like to take you through an example of what Tip 2 might look like, or also known as the flip-flop lesson. I'm going to show you what a teacher-led example versus an independent student learning task will look like. For this, I'm going to use an English 10 lesson that I did in the beginning of the year called Analyzing Dreams by Langston Hughes. This was done through Pear Deck. If you take a look at this Pear Deck, we wanted to focus on annotating the poem Dreams by looking at a few things. It could be word choice, it could be looking at background with the Harlem Renaissance itself, and it could also be analyzing metaphors and analyzing the theme of the poem. As you're looking through these tasks, one of the tasks that really stands out to me is task 4, which is identifying theme or the message of the poem. I have given formative assessments on poetry before, and one thing I see that my students struggle with is identifying the theme or the takeaway from the story or the poem. So I want to take this task and utilize it as my teacher-led example. I will save tasks 1, 2, and 3 for more of an independent student learning task because not only do I put how you can figure this out on the sidebar and give clear directions of the task itself, but I know this is something that the students don't necessarily struggle with, and since it's such a brief poem, they should be able to identify these certain tasks. Obviously, if they have any questions along the way, they can surely ask and I can help them out. So now I have my 2 tasks in mind. Task 1 for my independent learning task would be to complete 1, 2, and 3. For my teacher-led tasks, I would be going over theme and seeing what our students are having questions with or are struggling with, and I would be a resource to help them. Now focusing on the hybrid schedule, I have to look at my 2 groups. To start the hybrid schedule when we come back to school, I want to have 2 groups, one being our in-class students and the second group being our Zoom students or the people that are doing remote learning. What I want to do is I want to split this up by time and take some of our students for 20 minutes apiece between both groups and to lead that teacher discussion with identifying the theme of the poem, so that each group does get 20 minutes or more of one-on-one time with me, and that way they can talk and discuss, some of their concerns or challenges with that particular task. So to start, we will have a whole group lesson, an introductory anticipation questions on the idea of dreams and why they're important to us. For this, I gave them a choice board Pear Deck where they get to pick the question that they want to answer, and then they would put their response on the Pear Deck. So if I click to the next slide, it would expose the student responses, and I usually say for credit to put their first name on it so I can reward them. This could be done as whole class, whether you are in class with me or you are at home. Then I would encourage my first group as the student independent learning group to take the task of word choice, metaphors, and background to do independently. I would give it to the in-class group first so I can focus on explaining task 4 or the theme or message of the poem with my students on Zoom. As I'm leading my students on Zoom through identifying theme, it gives my group that is in class the time to work on those first 3 tasks. They're also contributing by answering on the Pear Deck, but they are doing that independently. Then I would flip-flop. So my first group that was doing their tasks independently will now come to me, which would be visibly in the classroom together as a whole, and we would talk about task 4, which is theme. My group on Zoom, since they got that teacher discussion in the beginning, will now be working independently on the other 3 tasks, and that's where the flip-flop comes in. I plan to spend about 20 minutes with each group. Okay, and when we come back together as a whole group at the end of class, once our flip-flop lesson is complete, then we either can go over the answers in class and share out some of the responses that we made on our Pear Deck. For data, I now have a whole group, whether you are in Zoom or you are in class, I have your responses on the Pear Deck. When we're in class, I'm more inclined to listen to their responses out loud so we can share out, and the Zoom kids will also hear the responses as they are also involved in the class. To close, I would have a whole group, both groups come back together for a closing activity. And for this, we decided to do a Vukaroo recording where the students would read dreams out loud and would record themselves. So you still can do that in a whole group, whether you're home or in class, and you can post that recording to our Google Classroom, and it would have been done as a question where they would respond with their link as their answer. My name is Noelle Vadino. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, you can email me at our Lindenwold email. Thank you and have a great day.